Hi and welcome to my delivery slash postpartum update. So I delivered my baby on November 1st. So I'm gonna start off from where I had ended the third trimester update because I could record it only on the day that I basically lost blood. Yeah, so that's where I had stopped. So I had recorded around 3:34, and after that my mom gave me a concoction, which is this jeera roasted, powdered, mixed with jaggery, and then a solution is made out of it, which is this Indian accelerator of contractions if it is not Braxton Hicks. Since I had Braxton Hicks before, my mom was not confident that I had the real contractions. But then I had it, and immediately my pain started. I started having the pain every 17 to 18 minutes. I called up Shank. I called up my. First, I called up my doctor and I told her that I'm having this pain and I saw blood leaving. And she said, if you have pain one more time, just come see me. I said, okay. I called Shank and Jankar, our best friend, had actually come to pick Shank, but then eventually, well, we were hanging out. And then so Shank and Jankar had gone out, and they rushed back like crazy because apparently Shank thought I was in too much pain and they almost got into an accident because of this. I apologize. So they came and immediately, so my pain started, but it was something I could bear. It was just like periods pain, threshold level 2, I would say. And it was just like I was in pain. My mom said, well, don't rush into any decision, just wait, don't go. But then, of course, once Shank comes, my confidence rises, and he's like, no, let's go. So I have my hospital bag packed by then. Okay, don't judge me. Since I have not had the opportunity to nest as a potential mom, because in Indian families they don't let you pack or buy anything for the baby. I didn't have to do anything but just get a freaking long and disgusting looking nightie because I don't wear nighties. I'm sorry. Those nighties are not at all adorable to look at. So I got an XL nightie from my neighbor who sells it, and just I wore it because that's what my doctor said I should have on. And after that, um, I just pack it in my bag. I wear what I am, and then we start off. Before that, my mother-in-law said that since Tali, I have this black beads, right? She said that because of black beads, once you give birth, you're supposed to destroy it according to their custom. So just remove the tali and tie a temporary tali like this, which is just turmeric kombu, turmeric. Okay, so I get this done, and Shank and I get married again in front of our temple. I have a video of that. And then we start off to go to the hospital. On the way, I start getting contractions every 7 minutes at this point, and it starts getting more and more painful. So my doctor checks me out, and she says that, okay, you are 1 centimeter dilated. And then they shift me to a not labor room, just a room. Hi, Shanki. Can you close the door, please? I'm finally recording my labor story.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I am the husband.
He's the husband. So so they shift me to the room, and my pain starts increasing more, and I start getting pain every 5 minutes, every 4 minutes, and stuff. So my doctor comes and checks on me another time, and I'm 5 centimeters dilated at this point, and she's like, okay, let me shift you to the labor room. So I go to the labor room, and by this time I already was dressed in my disgusting looking nightie. Oh, by the way, one of the ladies, she's not nurse basically, but she's one of the helpers there. She came and asked me if I had shaved down there, and I said no. So she brought a razor and she started shaving. She did a pretty good job, and then I was shifted. During between the 3 centimeter to 5 centimeter stuff, she did it. And then I was shifted to the labor room, and then she plopped me onto a bed. That is another big story. So I was there for like 10 minutes. I was in a lot of pain, and they kept checking my BP, and they gave me certain injections. I don't really know, but they did tell me, but I was in so much pain to process the information. So then at another 10 minutes later, my doctor comes in and she checks my dilation, and I'm at 7 centimeter, uh, which is very good. And while she was checking, she broke my water, and a gush of amniotic fluid came out. I was very happy that my water broke. However, my doctor didn't seem happy. She had this worried look on her face, and she goes, "Oh, then I understood what happened. Apparently, my baby had pooped." There's a medical term for it. It starts with M. It is not desirable for the baby to poop and then ingest that, because then the baby can develop lung problems. And I was warned about this. She said that this has happened. Uh, we'll have to operate on you. And I was like, okay. I mean, I didn't say no or anything, but then she kept pressing on my stomach, because the baby had gone up. And she said, your baby also seems to be not at the exit. The baby seems to be up above. So she kept pushing the baby down. Nothing seemed to happen. And then she said, okay, let's wait for 30 minutes and we will see how we can do this. And they continuously check my BP, and yeah, I thought that was normal. And then I was alone again in the labor room on the bed, very uncomfortable. And I was all alone. I had nurses around me, but I was so alone. You should give I should give props to Shank, because they told him, sir, you cannot go in, but I don't know, I think he convinced the doctor and he came in and he was there with me. I felt so comfortable when he was there. And then I started having contractions every 2-3 minutes. It was very, very painful. Oh my god. And I was in a very uncomfortable state. The bed was completely flat. It should have been inclined like this so that I could lay on this. It was not. It was completely flat. I didn't have any support for my legs also. And I was sleeping erect, like upright on the bed, which when you're pregnant you cannot do. You need to always sleep to the side. And I asked my doctor, is it okay if I could? And she said, if you yeah, go ahead, do, like, be comfortable, because she already knew that the natural delivery was not going to happen, but she wanted to give me time just in case I further dilate and if the baby comes to the exit. Half an hour later, I'm holding Shank. He's there and he's very supportive and stuff. And half an hour later, it doesn't happen. So she comes and she explains to me that the baby is down at the exit, but the baby has her face down. I mean, not we didn't know the gender at that point, but the baby has the face down, which means that she's not facing the sky. Her head is facing the sky. It's impossible to deliver like that. And my BP was very high. So she said, we need to operate immediately. She said, can you walk? And I said, yes. So 15 steps later, I'm in the operating room. They make me remove the nightie. They gave me a gown. I was asked to remove everything. I didn't have any jewelry on. I just had my temporary tali and my tulsi mala on. They asked me to remove everything, and my toe rings and my anklet, everything. And then I was having continuous contractions even while I was walking, while I sat down on the table. And then a doctor came, anesthesiologist, Dr. Nanjappa, and he was introducing himself in Kannada. I took 10 seconds to process what he was saying. So he basically told he's the anesthesiologist and he's gonna inject me in my spinal cord. I said, okay. And then they couldn't find it. Then they said, can you, like, sit upright, which I did. And while he was doing it, I was having a contraction. And Dr. Deepak was holding something, like I think the back of the gown is like wide open, right? So they were holding something so that they could just see a sliver of the spinal cord. And I basically, because when you're in pain you just want to do something, like you cannot have your hands unclenched. When Shank was not there, I was clenching my hands, and when the nurse had her hand on me while she was injecting or something, I was holding her hand. But I was very conscious of not hurting her. But Shank, I didn't care, but apparently I didn't hurt him, is what he said. And then when doctor was holding me, I was like, I had nothing to hold, so I basically said, doctor, I'm having a contraction, and then I held his arm. So he didn't say anything. So once he injected, I started losing the sensation of the contractions. I had it for the next 2 minutes, and then they put me down and they covered my eyes with cloth. And then I could hear Dr. Raksha, my gynecologist, and also Dr. Deepak, the other gynecologist in the hospital. And she told me that you're gonna feel a bit of tugging feelings. And she asked me if I could wiggle my feet. I could feel it. 2 minutes later, I couldn't. And then they started cutting. Not that I could sense the cuts at all, but I could feel them tugging up my chest, which means I think they were moving the other organs out of the uterus way. So I am here sleeping with my eyes closed, and then a few minutes later I hear wah 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 and my baby is born. And then what I said was, oh my god. And then they said that here's your baby. And they said, I'm like, okay, yeah. They, I don't know, they didn't reveal the gender to me for some reason. Like, what baby is it, I think I asked, but they didn't reveal the gender. And then later on, the baby was not in the room. They had taken the baby outside. And then they started stitching me up. At that time I started feeling very dizzy. I told my doctor, and they came with a glass, or container, to help me vomit into it. But I was feeling dizzy, not nauseous. But then during that process, they moved the blindfold up so I could see the nurse stitching me up. There was nothing to see, and I was dizzy the whole time. So I just closed my eyes and I'm like, relax, there's nothing to do there. What seemed like 20 minutes later, I was again with the flap on. I was shifted from the operating table, to the gurney, and I was rolled out to my room, and again shifted from the gurney to my bed. And before that, while they were operating on me, they removed my blindfold for 10 seconds, just 10 seconds, and they showed me my baby. And there was this living being staring into the abyss, and just 10 seconds they had her. And then they said, do you see your baby? And I said, yeah. And then I said, hi baby. And then they said, do you see the gender? And I said, yes, it's a girl. And that's it. I was shifted to my room, and after I was shifted to my room, they removed my blindfold. And there you go. That's my delivery story. So I was on one of the beds. In the other bed, I could see my mother going into this completely grandmother mode. Like, she didn't come see me, dude. Like, Shank kept going back and forth. He's so romantic, honestly. He kept going back and forth. And then the nurse was feeding the baby formula milk, not in a bottle, thank god, using spoon and thing. At that point, I couldn't really see anything because I didn't have my specs on. So, and I was motionless bottom, and I didn't know what I was feeling. I was basically like, okay, I just got operated on. I had a C-section, and I am a mom, and that was just sinking in. I couldn't sleep the whole night, not because I was in pain. I was in a lot of painkillers, and they had put a catheter up my urethra, so there was nothing, no pee, nothing. I was just totally comfortable, but I could not sleep because again I was upright and I've not slept upright for 9 months. So that was a very new experience for me. um, and my husband and my mom kept waking every couple of hours to force feed my baby because she would not cry. And I was like, so well behaved. Boy, was I wrong. The next day, my doctor comes to see me and I'm like, can I move around? And I'm like, how are you feeling? And I just want to go brush my teeth if I could please. And she's like, okay, as long as you're comfortable, we will. She removed the catheter, and then I could move, like baby steps, like transitioning from sitting to standing was a challenge, and the same thing from standing to sitting was a challenge. My cut had this bandage on it, the bandage that you put on your muscle if it gets sore, right? And peeing was also a challenge. Like I over committed because it really hurt when I was peeing. It was not a burning sensation. Some women have burning sensation when they pee, like a UTI, but I just was in pain when I was peeing. And I was like, damn, maybe I overcommitted this. I am all good. Can I pee by myself and stuff? But anyway, I brushed my teeth. I come back. Oh, and the funny part was, because I had a C-section, I thought that I probably will not bleed because they will remove everything from my uterus. No, I had my diaper on, and I was bleeding. I was like, ooh, blood. Oh my god. Okay. That was something of a shock for me. Later on, the same thing, slowly I was um transitioning, but I was sleeping most of the time. They didn't give me water for one whole day, 24 hours. They didn't. And after that, they said you can start taking liquid food. So 11 at around 11 p.m on the 1st of November, I gave birth to my baby. Till the next day, 11 p.m ish, I was asked not to take any liquid, no water whatsoever. At least for 12 hours they didn't, and after that they gave me a little bit of water while I was taking medication. Yes, they had to give me painkillers and stuff, so I was on medication. Only that time I had water, and they were very conscious of how much they are letting me have. And then I started having coffee and like fruit juice and other things. So day 2 was a little better. I was getting better, and day 3 was even more better. I could like transition a little better, and I could also sleep to the side. On day 3, they said that they will redo my bandage, so they removed it and they got me a plaster kind of thing which was silver infused, and they put it on so that would allow me to take bath. And I was super excited about it finally. um no, was I in a lot of pain when compared to other women who had C-section? Apparently I was not, because the nurses kept saying, Maitri, can you just lie down all the time? And I'm like, but I'm feeling comfortable. It's like, it doesn't matter, keep lying down, and then don't walk around and don't sit up. So they kept saying it. And one of the nurses on day 3 comes and says, are you sure you had a C-section? And I'm like, yeah, I did. And it's like, you're too comfortable for a C-section. So whatever, I don't know, I was pretty comfortable. And on day 2 I started feeding my baby, and the bonding part came only on day 3. So I think that's a different story completely. And after that, on day 4, she had to get a bilirubin, so she had to be on phototherapy because when babies inject poop, they develop jaundice. She had jaundice, her eyes were yellow, her skin was yellow, so she had to be on phototherapy to bring down her bilirubin levels. And so day 4 we stayed in the hospital, and later on we got discharged. So on Saturday I got discharged and I came home. I was on a lot of medication, antibiotics, painkillers, and few other things, which got over in a week's time. And after that I asked my doctor, do I need another prescription? She said no, you can be off them. If you feel pain, you can take painkillers. But I was under contract. I've experienced contractions, and this pain is absolutely nothing. So today is day 13, and I'm actually fitting into one of my maternity clothes that I was not by the 9th month. So this makes me happy. And stomach update. So I still look pregnant, my Perima and mom won't stop saying that. Thank you so much for reminding me. And you can see that I don't wear my pants or underwear down anymore because my doctor advised me not to. The incision is right here. I don't know how to show, because if I do show, okay, you can see. Yeah, it's this big, like 5 inches. It is still healing, and this is my aftermath. So you can still see the linear diagram, I think. Yeah, I'm pronouncing it right. And then my navel has completely gone inside, which is good because it is propping up so much. And my stretch marks are still there. They will go in another 6 months depending on my diet and exercise. And if I like take the air in, this part is my uterus, which needs to reduce its size completely. All my organs are going back to where they belong. And one thing that surprised me about my postpartum is how often I'm not peeing. I'm not peeing that often, dude. And for the first time after I got operated, I saw my pee being yellow. I've not seen my pee yellow for 9 months because I made sure I was well hydrated. So that surprised me. I only peed like 3 times a day, and I was like, this is not normal. I'm not getting up to pee at night. And by now I'm all good. I just have high BP. Okay, so on day 2 when my doctor came, she told me that, how you feeling? She asked me all these normal questions, and then she told me, Maitri, you didn't know, but I was really worried. And I'm like, wait, what happened? Like, your BP shot up very high, but that is why they kept measuring my BP every so often, like every 10 minutes, 7 minutes. They kept checking my BP because I touched 210, 100. Throughout my pregnancy, I had normal BP, 120, 85. And then during my labor, my BP shot up so high, she was actually worried. What happens when your BP shoots up is that your baby can go into distress and poop, and whatever happened. Apparently, when she was operating on me, I could hear her continuously saying to the other doctors that it is stinking, right? It is stinking, right? So I asked her, what did you mean by that? She said, your baby had apparently pooped 2 days ago. That's dangerous. It's a miracle that my baby actually survived, and so did I, because that's a real condition. When the poop is injected by the baby, that goes into the lungs, it's dangerous. I've seen reels where people have lost their babies because of this condition, that they're not aware that the baby had pooped, and they lost the baby after birth immediately. Oof. Once I heard it, I was so scared. Like, no way this happened, because my, not contraction per se, but Braxton Hicks started just 2 days before my baby had apparently pooped. So that was so scary. So my BP shot up. My BP is still high. I'm on medication, blood pressure medicine. She changed my dosage. For 10 days I was on 100 mg all 3 times of the day, and it's with the BP medication. Mine is at 150, 90 range. So without that, I would be already dead. So she changed my medication. Now she's giving me 50 mg 2 times a day, morning and night. And it has shot up right now. I'm at 147/98, which is again very dangerous. So, hope I'm alive. I'm kidding. I have the best doctor. I'll be fine. And that's my story. It's a miracle that my baby survived and she was not very sick, even though she had injected poop 2 days ago. And the fact that I went into labor pretty quickly, 7 centimeters dilated, yet I didn't go for vaginal birth because of my BP issues, and I had to get a C-section. It's not bad really. When people say or hear that I got a C-section, people are kind of sorry about it, but I am a warrior. I I was there, you guys. I didn't care about the pain. Oh, and the pain. There should be a separate video for that. It's amazing. After that, my mom asked like, "How do you feel with the baby?" And I'm like, "I had no feelings." And then later on, it's like, "Do you think you'll have another child?" I'm like, "No, I need a break. Actually, no." But now that I'm in the 13th day, I'm like, cool, I can have another child. And this time I'm gonna push for natural delivery. I'm gonna make sure my BP is under control and whatnot. So that's my labor slash postpartum story. I'm doing all good. My family is very supportive. I have an amazing ecosystem. We even had a function yesterday for our baby's cradle ceremony, and that was cute. I was all dressed up, and I'm doing good. There's no depression as such yet, because postpartum depression is quite real. I just have a lot of mood swings, but I have, like I said, the best husband, and I have my mom to support, and of course a very adorable but bossy baby. It's nice. Things are going really good so far. So that's my story. Thank you for hearing me for 27